Hey everyone, I know that lots of people like to do frequency separation as a way to smooth out skin tones. I personally don't like manual frequency separation. I find it takes too long. I find that it's kind of clunky. You create the two layers and then you have to go in and select and blur kind of big patches of skin to get rid of the detail on the detail layer. And I have figured out a different way to do it that to me is simpler, easier, and gives you a better final result, with the side effect is that it's much simpler. So watch this. We are going to duplicate the layer twice, just like we do when we're getting ready to set up frequency separation. We're going to go to the middle layer and we're going to do some Gaussian blur. Now the important thing with this is I've set my radius to 6. Whatever number you set the amount of blur to, just remember that number. Or so like if I put it at 7, I've blurred this Gaussian blur 7. Now go to the top layer and go Filter, Other, High Pass, and set that number to the exact same number that you used for the blur. High pass filtering is the exact opposite of Gaussian blur. So now we have one layer that's been blurred by 7 pixels. We have one layer that's been effectively sharpened by 7 pixels. If we change the overlay mode to linear light and we reduce the opacity to exactly 50%, we have blurred it, we have sharpened it, and we've mixed those in a 50-50 ratio. And so if you blur something and then turn around and resharpen it by the exact same amount, it nullifies or balances out. So if I hold down the Shift key and select both of those layers and hit Control G and put those in a group, if I turn the eyeball on and off, you see absolutely no change to the underlying image, because 7 pixels of blur plus 7 pixels of sharpening mixed together comes out as right back to where you started. Okay, so then make sure that you're on the high pass layer, the one that's gray. Come over to your color picker, pick medium gray, which is 128, 128, 128. Then, normally under your brush tool, if you right click, there's this mixer brush tool. And I set it to wet about 15, load about 15, mix about 15, flow about 15, give or take. You don't have to be exact, but about 15 on everything. Then all you do is you just kind of paint little swirlies. You don't have to do the select and blur, select and blur, and select and blur like you do with the frequency separation. You just kind of draw little circles. And to me, it's quicker and faster than doing high pass or frequency separation. Get a much smoother result. And because those are grouped, it's before, after. I realize it's a travesty to remove her freckles, but those freckles, if those were blemishes on a model, for example, you can see how effectively that takes away the blemishes without destroying the entire underlying, colors and tones. And that's it. Super simple. One blurred layer, one high pass layer. High pass layer goes to linear light at 50%, mixer brush at 15, 15, 15, 15. and super simple. Give it a try.